All right, boys, in front of me, I have a bunch of cards from Grand Cross that I believe are some of the best cards that you can click in this funny little game. Now, I'm going to be ranking them, only the top 10. We're going to be cutting out all the rest, but I had to upload more than 10 because I was like, oh, I don't know what I think the top 10 is, so I just put a bunch of cards I think are really good. I went from a box a couple of times and I was like, yep, this card's good. No, this card's not good. And you know, it's hard to evaluate. Now, one big important thing is, one, I will blow your mind this video, I think, because most Grand Cross players are really stupid and they just yap because they want to yap. And they don't care, they don't have an opinion. They want to say something because they want to view it a certain way. They say something is good just because they'll make them look more interesting or whatever. I don't know. People are really stupid when it comes to this game, when it's really simple. One card does big damage, it's probably really good. This card doesn't do big damage, probably not that good. In a game where matches last one round or PvE is solved from turn 1 onwards. But regardless, I'll blow your mind. Even my friends are stupid. Some of my friends, at least. Some of the takes, okay? Now, sometimes, you know, sometimes they're geniuses, sometimes they're stupid. But I'll blow your mind. Now, very important, I have to clarify this. This is sorta, but not really, but like actually for real, no passes are taken into account for this, okay? Because passes, obviously they change everything, because I just do a top 10 character ranking at that point, right? Essentially that's what it would be. So passives don't get accounted for this, okay? So that's why cards like Demon King Melee's cards on here, or Thor's cards aren't on there, because Thor's cards are good, but you need the form for them to be good. Like in some next cards, you need like the mind stuffs to do more damage, or Hell's single target would definitely be on here because 5 stacks do big damage, and I would also count the passive damage as bonus damage. So that doesn't make sense. So this is just the top 10 cards that passive ignored. You click these on any character with like the same stats, you'll be like, that's pretty good, probably. So yeah, now we'll blow your mind. I know this for a fact. So first I have to make a new row, because a lot of cards are going to be in here, and it's going to be the win more but doesn't win you the game. Okay, now if you've never been good at a game, especially card games, which most of you aren't, win more is cards that if you're in a winning position are really good, but they won't get you to this winning position, so they're not good cards. Even though you might think, whoa, this card actually is like insane, it's not. Okay, now unfortunately one of my favorite cards is here, and that is that's how I'm gonna start off the video, because it's I think this is a good, you'll understand just how cardy cards in this game are. Okay, so Bond's gift card, okay, increases max HP and then heals for all allies, and then also heals at the start of the turn. Now when you play this card, you're past the start of the turn, you're not getting the heal, you're only getting the max HP, right? Now, this is a win more card, because if you go first, you click this card, you're already in the winning position in Grand Cross if you go first. You have 20% more HP, and then your opponent on the enemy turn, he has to overcome the 20% extra HP that you have. And also, when he does damage, he probably doesn't kill you because you'll have a lot of HP. On your turn, you'll heal. Now, let's flip this. You're going second, they're doing damage to you, you're clicking this card, your max HP increases, who gives a shit? You're not healing, and you have 2 cards left. Okay, and it's the same technically in both PvE and PvP. I'm mostly going to be talking about PvP, I think, or like scaling them off PvP, because I think makes more sense, unless there's like an extreme like situation here where it's like, okay, well, this is like, a lot of these cards are like unusable in PvE, right? Because like bosses are just stat checks, like debuffs and stuff that work on them, and like unique mechanics don't work on them, right? They're just stat checks with shit mechanics because they can't make bosses, but whatever. So most cards I'm gonna evaluate on like PvP, or like the general idea of what the card wants to do and accomplish, and then is it good, yes, no, whatever, you get it, right? I think the more we go, the more I understand. Now this is a win more but doesn't win you the game, okay? So this is not part of the top 10. I'll put number 1 here, I'll put number 2 and 3 here, and then we'll put number 4 to 7 here, and put number 8 to 10. Okay, and then this is going to be lol, no, but decent, I guess. I don't know, I didn't think about the tiers about when I made this, to be fair, so we'll move on as we go. Now, Gallant's single target, specifically his single targets. LRs do have a bonus here because all their cards got the extra effect, right? Now, Gallant's card, okay, let's be honest, Amplify is pretty damn good. Arguably the best effect for a damage card, because it's the effect you can scale the highest. Okay, buffs, there's plenty of them in Grand Cross and plenty of ways to get them. Okay, so you can scale this card the highest for damage, but it also lowers enemy ult gauge. So even if you're in a winning position and you've got a lot of buffs, this will do a lot of damage. If you're not in a winning position and they're winning, they have ult, you can remove ult. If they're not in a winning position, you can still have a lot of buffs and do damage. Right? So this card is infinitely better than this card already, just by default, because it's already always going to be good. The peak is at the highest peak you can have, arguably, for a single target, I'd say. Well, second highest, actually. I just looked over there. But, and then the other, well, actually, there's two single targets that are better than this. But regardless, really, really high peak for a single target, and it has utility. Okay? So I don't know where I'm going to put these, and I'm going to be moving them around the entire time. So I'm going to put this in the 4 to 7. It's probably going to get moved down to like 8 to 10. But I'm going to put it in the 4 to 7 column right now. And these are going to be ordered, obviously. So this is right now, this is number 4, technically. Okay, but we'll see. Do I do random, or do I want to blow your mind already? I have an insanely hot take, which is actually just true, but like, you know, you'll see. Okay, let's fill this tier. Okay, this tier, fittingly that's a tier because tiers card goes in there. Okay, it's an AoE weak point. It's a really strong card, right? Weak point is one of the strongest effective in Grand Cross because essentially without any additional setup, you get triple the damage. Okay, now they are useless without it, right? Their whole like scaling is built around having a debuff, so they're slightly stronger than average AoEs, but they're much weaker than everything else if the effect doesn't work. So like they're there, okay, they're good cards. Okay, they tend like they you know, the characters that have them can't do a lot of damage, but just isolating the card is good, I guess. But it's like nothing crazy. Another card that I want to put where Gallant is around there. No, I'll put it here because fuck Demo. It's Eden single target. Eden is a shit character, but he can cook. But regardless, this single target, double crit damage, and if they're debuffed, double damage if they're debuffed, double crit damage, right? Oh, one of the ways. No, I think it's like both only triggers now when they're debuffed because we like found out that they can't code, whatever. Regardless of what it is, getting a debuff is free. Okay, so that's not something we have to worry about. Getting a debuff in any situation you're in is very free, and this card is the card reads this is a lot of damage on one card, right? Double damage and double crit damage is a lot of damage. Okay. Regardless of character, okay? Yeah, you know, Adam been doing those 57k crits on like a tier nowadays, but like the trust on a good character, whoa, crazy card, okay? So I will put it 8 to 10. I do think it's a top 10 card. I think, you know, the rest is going to be utility probably, but damage wise, I think these are the only cards I can. Oh, hold on, wait. Okay, so a top 3 card in the game is going to be Escudo single target. Sorry, I was like, yeah, damage. So okay, oh well, we'll get to this later too. Peephole, Grand Cross players, you overrate support so much because you've, as a kid and as a teen, as an adult, you've been fed this lie that if you like damage, you're stupid, and if you like supports, you're mature and you're so smart and you're a genius. You know what the game is all about. Unfortunately, that's not true for Grand Cross. This is where you have to start thinking and not just like repeat what people say. So damage is a lot more valuable in Grand Cross than support 90% of the time, I'd say, unless the support slash utility is like so insanely broken that your entire game plan revolves around this utility. AKA, and this is not a card, but Summer Merlin. Summer Merlin was so broken with the attack seal and so oppressive that building around her was fine. Her cards suck ass, right? I guess Dissolve is broken and it helps with her kid, but that's one of the few exceptions, right? Usually, especially in Grand Cross, stats and dealing damage before enemies can get stats is much more important. So we complain more about damage dealers than we complain about utility units. Okay, now one of the utility cards that has been very insane because of what it does, which is shut down damage, which is the best thing you can do in Grand Cross, is going to be Liz's Shield. And it's not a top 1 card, it probably is a top 3 card. Okay, it probably is a top 3 card. Obviously, characters aside, this is just a card. What the card effect is. Also, I didn't explain Escudo single target, but it does your damage and then it does it again, and that's really strong. I don't think I have to explain. This is like the high. This is not the highest scaling single target, but on like if we used 1,000 single targets in 1,000 different scenarios, this one would come on top of like average, right? And both in single target fights, it's insane. right? It has the unique feature that because it does damage multiple times, it bypasses damage cap, so to speak. Or in PvP, if someone has damage cap and you kill someone, you kill their Naofumi for like 1 million damage, then the Demon King that's 500 HP is going to die to this card. Even though he has damage cap, and you can't bypass 50% of his damage, but because the damages are going to be a actual number that's going to be dealt, like a flat, like set number that's going to be dealt to Demon King that you can't reduce because it doesn't work that way. Because I actually don't know why it doesn't work that way. Okay, I feel like it shouldn't, but it does. Regardless, it's crazy. It's crazy strong, and you can scale this really high still, and it's just really useful. It's strong when you're winning. It's strong when you're losing. It's always strong. Same with this card. If you're winning, if you are turn 1 and you're setting up and you hide behind this veil of goodness, enemies can't do much. Okay, they'll have to break it, which Liz now, this shield's really easy to break, but at its peak, this shield could take you turns to break. So, yeah. Now, a card I will put in null, no, but decent, I guess, is Miles AoE. It's really strong. It's spike AoE. It's a very one of the best damage card like effects you can have. But like character side is whatever. The sunspot that he applies are also good in the card. It's a really good card. It's just not top 10, right? So there you go. I want to say the same for Demon King, but I actually think it might be a top 10 card because it's infect and it lowers their crit resistances, right? So infect lets you do more damage in it without them being able to recover from that damage, which is, you know, this makes this card even worse, right? But it also it lets you do more damage, and it makes him not really be able to recover from that damage, which is obviously really strong. I don't think, like, I think when we all started this card, we're like, wow, this is crazy. This is the best like version of AoE. I don't have Arthur's AoE here. I don't think it's that crazy. It's crazy on Arthur, obviously, insane. But on the average characters, it's not going to be that crazy. We see what it does when Arthur doesn't have the HP buff, right? So the damage is not that crazy. Well, which is also like, that's also character specific. But the damage reduction of it, like I can put every infect card in low, no, but decent, I guess. They're all like, the infect is just broken in general, right? I was even thinking of putting Pierce single target here because I was like, yo, Aiki, it might actually deserve to be here. Speaking of Pierce, this card is like borderline top 10 single targets, right? If I did a single target tier list, it'd probably be like top 5. But overall, I don't think it makes the top 10, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't. It does damage based on the max HP of the enemy, right? It's like a reverse flood in that sense. And it has double pierce, so it's strong. It's a really strong single target. You'll never feel bad clicking it on if every character has the same stats and everything was neutralized. There's no passives. You never feel bad clicking this card, but because, you know, there's cards that do more, right? Like this card does more. Double crit damage and double damage is way more than double pierce and 80% damage increase. So I actually I don't know what the exact number is. We can actually go to Demons real quick. You know, why not? What's Lil Bro at? Where is he? Okay, it's 100% damage if they're 4 HP. So it's double damage and double pierce, which is just strictly worse than double damage and double crit damage. Right? We can agree? So I actually this will probably end up being top 10 anyway. As Kratos AoE, I think I actually won't rate this. I think if I rate this, it's the old passive that makes this good. Other than that, it's just a damage card, so I won't even rank this one. Yeah, I actually won't even rank this one. Now let's have this Dianov. This Dian Taunt and this Dian Taunt are essentially the same. I'm not going to count higher ranked cards for the most part, unless they make a super big difference. Now, this one sort of does, but not really. This one gives you HP related stats. This one gives you damage reduction. Now, if you've played Grangos in the past 5 years, you know this is much better than this. They both last 2 turns on rank 1, which is crazy broken. And when she released, I was like, why are we doing this? But I think this is probably the top 7 card in the game. This taunt card, very insane. I thought, bro, I actually want to get into it, whatever. But keep that in mind. Now another damage card, obviously, because they're the best cards in Grand Cross, is going to be this, which is going to be top 4, I guess. I'd actually like rather have this would look so sexy to me. This is how I low-key feel too, but I think this is more accurate because I don't know what I want to put as number 1 card in the game. I actually genuinely do not know. I have a hot take of what it could be, which would be like, it'd be crazy if I had a hot take. But I think that like that would be like a hot take to have a hot take, not because I actually fully mean it. So I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. Now, also, I rank Gallons. This is like the equivalent in lowers location. It's Spike. Obviously, on Zeldris is really good because he can get absurd crit damage and he has really high crit chance, so he's always going to crit. So it's going to be a consistent card and do a lot of damage. And you can scale it on him, especially really high. But again, average, like the actual card reads as it's really good, but it's not top 10, right? I think Gallon's card is way better than this. Okay, if I'm gonna be real, I'll probably think it's this. Okay, I'll probably think it's this. Freeze essentially turns off the enemy character. Okay, only works in PvP. Obviously PvE they never allow having fun, but really good. And then higher ranks, if we take those into account, it also does max HP damage on pop, right? Which you could argue Merlin's freeze is better. You could, but this one will do more damage effortlessly. If you have a low damage team, this will do way more damage than the Merlin rank 3 freeze, right? So I don't know where I want to put it. There's gonna be more than 10 cards on here and I'm gonna have to move them, right? But let me not say decent, but they're really good. Okay, yeah, need to move this in. I can put this here then too, right? Because we're doing the comparison. Now, do I do it now? Yeah, okay, go on. There is a card in this game that's been overrated since day one. Because, I don't know, we just all agree to be delusional. And that is Rank Up. Okay? Rank Up was always like, dude, it's the best card in the game. Now, I will say, I'll come out, it's not rank 1. It's not even close to rank 1. Okay, it might be. I think it's like top 5. Probably. Rank Up can only be as good as the cards you run with the Rank Up character. Okay? So if you don't have good characters, don't have good cards, Rank Up is not a good card. Right? If you're ranking up who goes single target, it's not that good. I'd rather use an Escudo single target. Okay, if you're ranking up Escudo single target and I have 2 Escudo single targets, I'd probably double single target over doing the rank up. Okay, if you have 3 single targets and a rank up, I'll probably rank up and do 2 single targets. So you see where I think it's not the best. You're not, the best card is going to be the one that when you see in your hand you click because you're like, wow, I'm clicking this card. But there are situations where you don't want to rank up. Very many situations, especially if you're not winning. If you're not winning, which I will say, this card will make you win. It's not a win more card, it will make you win. But in a losing position, if you only have Gowther and someone else left, it's very, like, you've been in the situations 100 times probably if you've used Halloween Gowther. A lot of times you just have him and like 1 unit remaining, right? Like let's say like blue to 1 or something, right? And it's like you don't want to waste that 1 slot on rank up. You'd rather do 2 damage cards, right? Because that's most likely going to get you the win over that, right? Now the combination with rank up that's really broken is cards that like gain something on rank 2 that they don't have in rank 1, right? Example, Ataxial. Okay, on rank 1, the worst card in the game. Okay, no, actually there's worse. Bleed, I think the basic Bleed AoE is worse, the basic Shock AoE is worse, and the basic Poison AoE are worse. Buff them, please, them marble. Double their ratios. They actually won't even be good, even then, probably. But those are worse. But again, Ataxial, rank 1 is useless. It's a card that does 120 or 110 damage, and that's it. On a rank 2, it does the same. Is it 150 even? Ah, that'd be crazy. And it Ataxials. Now, and as you can see in the top 10, we got some attack cards here. I'm just saying, you disable them, that's probably a pretty good card. Okay, I could put Ataxial in the top 10, I'd be happy about it, but I'm not. Because it's locked behind a rank 2. When we get a character has an Ataxial in rank 1, you bet your silly little ass, this is on the top 10 list for me, top 5 probably, maybe top 3, if we get a rank 1 AoE Ataxial. It is so over for this game. And that's never going to happen. So, we don't have to worry about that. Now, actually bad. I put some cards here that are like good, but they're actually bad. This card's bad. This card's bad. This card is the ultimate win more card, so I have to put it actually bad. Okay, it works obviously in some teams, right? Some teams can set this up to be good, which is why you shouldn't take this card ranking as like, dude, my favorite character's card is not in the top 10. That means the character's bad. No, right? Obviously, when this guy was meta, this card was insane because of the way that you could lock down opponents that couldn't do much against you, and then you could build up your dot damage and then release on them. If you don't know what this card does, I'll actually show you, which is King. I actually don't know what it's small wing King. Actually, that makes sense. I thought you'd call him Harlequin something. Whatever. Releases deals additional damage using remaining damage and shock, poison, bleed debuffs. If you bleed someone for 200k or for 100k, right? And then you shock someone, that shock takes for 100k. And then you poison someone, that takes for 100k. You release and it will do well, it'll release 80% on rank 1, but let's say rank 2 average just because it's easier for math. 300k extra damage plus 270% of your attack. That's a very good card. The thing is, to get this to work, you need to use a poison card, a shock card, and a bleed card. What if I click this card 3 times? like that's 4 times actually. I think I'll achieve just ever so slightly more, right? So that's why this card is just ass. It's ass. It's actually just it might be the worst card in the game. Because like all the ones that don't like, there's cards that don't have effects or whatever, right? Or like corrosion even. Like yeah, no, like they do something and they're one card. This requires you to set up and then it's still like, then it's good. And then it's good, I guess, if you set up. So I guess it might not be worse. But it is up there as like one of the most contextually good but actually bad cards. Okay, I guess that's the best way I can put it, right? Disable. It's hard for me to not put this here. Okay, it's hard for me to not put this here. Okay, obviously this is more cards than I should have in the top 10, but I'm just saying, like right now this is how I feel. We'll be moving some characters and some cards down. But yeah, this guy, it's really hard to argue against Disable. Disable is a better freeze for a lot of situations. Okay, because freeze will remove all other buffs they have, but also remove all other debuffs they have, right? So if they're debuffed with like a bunch of debuffs, and let's say they're damaging debuffs, or the debuffs that are required for other characters to work, then you cuck them that way, right? And we've all, like, I think if you've used freeze cards a lot, if you've used Amelia a lot, you've been in that situation where like, oh, I actually don't want to freeze him because like he's dissolved right now, and I don't want him to like lose a dissolve because I need him to have his all quick control because I can't attack the next turn. There are situations where like freeze is not good, okay? But at the peak, it's I think freeze is the best card because at its peak, its opponent can't play, I can play, right? And on average, it's like it's really good. So it definitely is top 10. Disable is they can't use their, like they use their cards, they don't do anything. Now there are cards that they'll still do a lot, right? If you disable Gelda, you're essentially not disabling her. Her cards will do the same damage, she'll still heal like a shitload, and she'll still be immortal. It doesn't change anything for her, right? But you disable Escanor, his card just becomes the Regal single target, right? So it's a very you disable this card, doesn't do shit, right? You disable someone, the ultimates don't work. It's except a flat number, which again the flat number a lot of times is just good enough to accomplish a lot of things. So I don't want to put it too high because it like on average it's like it's really good, but a lot of times it actually doesn't even matter. And then what if you're in a situation where you can't hit the actual guy that needs to be disabled, right? Because it's a single target. So that's like the same thing with this one, to be fair. But this one can like you can freeze at the end in her stance, and then the other character's free. Whereas you can disable at the end in her stance, and then she's like, okay, anyway I use stance again. So you see, that's why actually the thing is like this. I'm gonna move this down. Let's already do a bit of filtering. 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, to be fair, we are doing it. We still have a number 1. Now, I said rank up is top 5, right? This card is easily then top 4. It's not much better. It's better. I think I generally feel like this, but we'll see. This rank up is just this rank up, but decent chunk better. Debuffs are really strong in this game. Like debuffs can do a lot. Debuffs are some of characters' entire kits, and bosses' entire mechanics. So being able to cleanse them is like negating what they've done. So it's like making a card better, right? And in a good case scenario, it's making one of the best. It's making the best card in the game better, and it's also negating one of the best enemy cards at the same time. Okay, and ideally, it's doing that, or this, right? Or this debuff, right? If they have this debuff and you cleanse this debuff and you do this, you've just used 3 top 10 cards in 1 card, essentially, right? So it's like, or you affected 3 top 10 cards in 1 card. So it's really strong, obviously. Rank up's really strong. It's just the delusion that people have, oh, rank up's really strong. Dude, all right, supports are the best units in the game. I have to rank supports higher. Supports are really good, but only if you understand why they're so good. Are they make or break? No. Is the character standalone still insane? Yes. Bro, that character's probably better, right? LRS can overall this. Not anymore, but it was for the longest time. And there's other characters, but I mean, I like doing that example because it gets the boys riled up. Tarmiel, I want to put this on here. I want to put this on here. Am I crazy for wanting to put this on here? Takes less damage, takes damage for allies and heals. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a crazy card. Like, I don't know why I said heal, but 40, like, out of rank 1, reduces final damage taken. So this is true damage reduction, 40%. Okay, so you're almost essentially cutting the damage someone would take in half. Okay, you're kind of erasing the second card point of this card. Almost, right? Actually, no, you are. You're doing more than that, actually. Yeah. Because then this card will do 90% of its original damage without the effect if you have this up. Yeah, so that's really good. And then Tarmiel takes 40% of the reduced damage. He doesn't take the reduced damage, he takes 40% of the reduced, so he doesn't take that much. It's really weak to AoEs because you're hitting everyone, and then he again like takes all of that. Like again, so it's turning an AoE into an AoE plus single target against him, which is why I don't want to put that high. But this card by its own is crazy, right? Which is why Percival is such a feels fairly powerful those first 2 turns when he actually has the stuff up, right? Where it's different. It's much weaker. It's much weaker than the blue Tarmiel thing, but it's still really strong, right? And you know how strong it is. So like this is the much stronger version on a shit character right now. But if this wasn't a good character right now, you'd understand just how broken this card is. I probably value this higher than I probably don't value this higher than these cards. It is really good though. It's a good team protector like card. It's like if you're winning, if you go first, you click this card, it's insane. If you're losing, you click this card, it can save you the match. It's good, right? Because it can like make it so like your character that's gonna pop up the turn after, because he needs like another turn, it can survive that 1 extra turn even though you went second. So it is one card that I definitely put up here for sure. I do want to put it in the top 10. Now this stance removal is really good. I felt like putting it there. Stance removal is better than buff removal because stances are more devastating, and buffs, the most like insane buff that like could bother you is dodge, right? And ults bypass that. And a lot of times when you fight something where you're like, oh, I need a buff removal because it's dodge, you can probably also set up ult, right? A lot of times, but obviously you still want buff removal is not bad, but I think stance removal is so good that I wanted to put it here, right? I mean, look at we have 3 stances here, and then boss's stance up as well, and then we have Baldur who like, oh, and then we have character specific stances, but I don't want to put it like Albedo, like Baldur, right? This card's really good. I was thinking it might be a top 10 card because it's really strong, but it's very finicky, right? So I can't, I don't know, I don't want to rank it. Yeah, this I'm not ranking. This card's really good, but you can still use attack skills, which are the best skills in the game, for the most part, or like most consistently good cards. So I don't think I can put it top 10. It is really strong though, but yeah, I'll probably say it's a really good card. This card's a top 10 card, so we're moving something out the way here. We're rearranging and doing something. Do I think it's this good? No, definitely not. I think a 2-turn taunt is definitely really strong, but it's probably not that strong. It's stronger than this though, for sure, right? So I'll do this. I think this is probably stronger. I think I'll move Disable down. Yeah, I think this is the what I want to do. Do I want to put this up here, or do I want to? I'll put Gallon up here. You guys can Sugma. This card's good, but probably like it's just right outside of this. I think it's not. Because it's like rank 1 is not that impressive. It's like rank 2, especially rank 3, obviously, that's like super good. But this card especially, this actually has a very unique issue as well, where it's like other cards I can be like, yeah, you can think of like a rank 2 freeze or something, right? You can't think of a rank 2 this because it's a Gulthar. Who's gonna rank up this card for you? A god? Yeah, I don't think so. and then this doesn't count, right? So yeah, that's my list. 30 minutes of yap time. Hopefully I blew your mind on rank ups. I don't think I went into it as much as I initially thought I would on rank ups, so I think they're like vastly overrated by the community, but they are really good, obviously. Like, it's just like people are so stupid, especially when I say like it's a top 3 card. People will be like, no, you're crazy, because it's not 2 spots higher, right? In their mind, which I don't think it's that good. But I'd rather click this card than this card. If I have both in my hand, I'm clicking this card. If I have all 3 of this in my hand and I want to win, most likely I'm picking this one, but there is a chance I'm clicking one of these ones. But it's more leaning towards this one. Okay, if this can take on an enemy character, which you know, the effect is so strong, it probably will, then I'll probably click this card rather than protecting myself for another turn for setup, or like ruining the enemy turn because they have like a certain setup that they waited for this turn where they set up the debuffs, and now their special attack card that requires you to have this, it does something. But no, or like they transformed and then like, oh wait, now the transform effect doesn't go off. This card is so absurdly broken. Like, you can make it, if you told me this is your list, I would be like, yeah, sure. But it's definitely not better than these two. There's no way you can tell me this card is better than these two. This card's up there. This card's insane. This card, it can be more insane than this card if you do insane amount of damage, but this one's going to be consistently better. So that's why I like, yeah. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'm right. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I was gonna say I definitely, I was like, there shouldn't be 4 here. Yeah, honestly, the handstands, get out, bro. There you go. That makes more sense, right? I was like, wait, this looks more like 10. This looks more than 10. I still have the cards here from before I like settled on thing. I think I can settle on this and be happy. I think. Like, there's maybe like very minor adjustments, right? Like, I can see Gallon's card be a bit better. But I think this is pretty good, right? And this is also nice. I like that it's balanced between buff cards, utility, and damage cards, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 damage cards. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 utility cards. Okay, well, I was gonna say, do I spread? Like, I guess I'm only gonna split it that way, right? I mean, we have a 6-4 split, which is good. And also well, do I actually think this is top 10? Did I gaslight myself into thinking this is top 10? I think like this card, not anymore. Yeah, I think I actually rather like, I see this. I actually also think this. I don't know. I think this. I don't know. So I'm thinking like, okay, in a world, why are you clicking this? It's because you want to protect people from cards like this or this or this or this, right? Not this though. This, you don't get protection from this, but from these cards you protect your allies. So these cards, as if they're really good, are better than this. On average, she can shut down all these other single targets, right? And it's fine. Well, not this one, but shut down those single targets. But those aren't ones that would like threat the team as much. Like, you click them just to like preserve that. I don't know. I don't know how to put it into words, but this is definitely more. And on order, I don't know. I think I'll put it like this. Yeah. But that's how I feel. You guys let me know what you think. That's it from me. Ciao. Subscribe.